Every morning began exactly the same for Ethan. The alarm buzzed at 6:30 a.m. sharp. He dragged himself out of bed, ate the same toast with coffee, and walked the same grey path to his office building. His life moved like a machine, predictable, safe, and smooth. Maybe too smooth. Everything worked perfectly, like a clock that never stopped ticking. But somewhere deep in his chest, there was a hollow feeling he couldn't name. It whispered to him in quiet moments, but Ethan always turned up the volume on his routine to drown it out. Friends and family would often ask him, "Ethan, don't you ever want to try something new? Travel somewhere? Start a hobby?" He would flash a polite smile and reply, "Why should I? Everything is fine the way it is." And on the surface, it was true. He had a steady job, a nice apartment, no drama. But that small emptiness inside him grew a little bigger each time he said those words. He felt it at night when the silence filled his room. He felt it on weekends when hours disappeared into scrolling and sleeping. Still, he pushed it away, convincing himself that comfort meant happiness. One cool evening, Ethan sat at a cafe waiting for his coffee when someone called his name. It was Lucas, his old college friend. But Lucas looked completely different. His eyes sparkled with energy, his posture was confident, and there was a glow about him that Ethan hadn't seen in years. They sat down, and Ethan couldn't help but ask, "Man, what happened to you? You look alive." Lucas leaned back, grinned, and said something Ethan wasn't ready to hear. "I stopped living comfortably. Comfort was slowly killing my dreams." Ethan stared at Lucas, confused. "What do you mean? Isn't comfort a good thing?" Lucas didn't answer right away. Instead, he pointed toward a huge tree outside the cafe window, its branches stretching high into the sky. "See that tree?" Lucas asked. "It started as a tiny seed buried in the dirt. If that seed had stayed comfortable in its shell, safe and protected, do you think it would ever have become this?" Ethan looked at the tree, then back at Lucas. The words hit him harder than he expected. A seed that stays comfortable never grows. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He sat on his bed staring at the ceiling, replaying Lucas's words over and over. For the first time in years, he looked at his life honestly. He wasn't living. He was repeating. The same routine, the same conversations, the same numb feeling. Comfort had wrapped around him like a warm blanket, but underneath it, he was suffocating. He realized comfort wasn't protecting him. It was trapping him. It was a cage he had built with his own hands, and he didn't even notice he was locked inside. Ethan closed his eyes and let himself remember. There was a time when he had dreams, big, wild, exciting dreams. He wanted to start his own business. He wanted to learn guitar and play songs that made people feel something. He dreamed of traveling the world, tasting new foods, meeting strangers with stories to tell. But somewhere along the way, he buried those dreams. He told himself they were risky, unrealistic, childish. Comfort felt safer. But now, sitting in the quiet of his room, he realized safe wasn't the same as alive. Ethan stood up and walked to his desk. He grabbed a notebook and a pen. His hand shook slightly as he wrote at the top of the page, "If I want a different life, I must become a different me." It felt scary to write those words. It felt like opening a door he had kept locked for years. But it also felt right. He didn't need to change everything overnight. He just needed to take the first step. And that step started tomorrow morning. The next day, Ethan's alarm rang at 6:30 a.m. But this time, he didn't hit snooze. He got up immediately, his heart racing with a strange mix of fear and excitement. He sat down with his notebook and wrote 3 small goals. Join a weekend course on something new, start reading books again, and take one action toward a dream every week. These weren't huge goals, but they were different, and different was exactly what he needed. For the first time in years, Ethan felt something other than routine. He felt hope. The first few weeks were hard. every new step felt awkward and uncomfortable. Ethan signed up for a photography course even though he knew nothing about cameras. He picked up books he used to love but hadn't touched in years. He researched how to start a small business and scribbled ideas in his notebook late at night. Some days, doubt crept in. What if I fail? What if this doesn't work? But every time fear whispered, he remembered the tree. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. So he kept going, one small, scary step at a time. Slowly, something inside Ethan began to shift. The emptiness that had haunted him for so long started to fade, replaced by a quiet sense of purpose. People at work noticed he seemed different, more energized, more present. His co-workers asked what changed, and he just smiled. He was no longer sleepwalking through his days. He was building a life, not just living a routine. He wasn't the same Ethan who woke up every morning in a fog. He was becoming someone new, someone he actually liked. Months turned into a year. Ethan launched a small online business selling custom photography prints, something he never imagined he could do. He learned to play guitar and performed at an open mic night, hands shaking but heart full. He traveled to places he'd only seen in pictures, met strangers who became friends, tasted food that made him feel alive. Life wasn't perfect, and it wasn't easy. But it was his. For the first time in years, Ethan felt genuinely, deeply alive. He finally understood the truth Lucas had tried to tell him. Comfort feels good, but nothing grows in comfort. Ethan didn't run away from comfort, he outgrew it. He learned that safety and growth don't always live in the same place. He discovered that the life he wanted was waiting just beyond the edge of his comfort zone, and all he had to do was take that first brave step. Now, when people ask him for advice, he tells them the same thing Lucas told him. If you want a different life, you must become a different you. Take one small step today. Your future self is waiting. Comfort can slow your growth. Your dreams start the moment you step out of your comfort zone. Take one small step today. Your future self is waiting. If you enjoyed this story and want more videos that inspire you, help you grow, and keep you motivated, make sure to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to share this story with your friends and family. Someone out there may need this wake-up call today. Thank you for watching. Your support means a lot. See you in the next story with another inspiring lesson.